Steam is full of free games, but let's be honest, most of them are forgettable. In this video, I'm showing you 7 completely free Steam games that feel way better than they should. These are not good for a free game. These are god-tier free games that deserve your time. If you're tired of wasting hours downloading games you uninstall after 10 minutes, this list is for you. And let's start with Projet Brouillon. This one feels like stepping inside a living sketchbook. You play as a simple drawing that suddenly comes to life, breaking free from the page and trying to understand what it actually is. It's a very personal, almost emotional kind of journey where the goal isn't to fight or survive, but to explore and discover your own identity. The entire world is built around paper, imagination, and creativity. You move through your creator's workshop, but everything feels larger than life, like you're seeing it through the eyes of a child. Objects become environments, and small details turn into entire worlds waiting to be explored. As you progress, your character evolves. You unlock new ways to interact with the environment, solve small puzzles, and reach places that weren't accessible before. It's simple on the surface, but it keeps things fresh and engaging. What really makes this game stand out is the atmosphere. It's calm, cozy, and surprisingly comforting. There's no pressure, no stress, just curiosity pushing you forward. It released on March 6th, and it's completely free on Steam. If you're looking for something relaxing, creative, and a bit different from the usual games, Projet Brouillon is definitely worth your time. Next up is Sicko Sanctum, and this one goes all in on pure, fast-paced chaos. You're thrown into a strange, almost surreal purgatory created by a bioengineered god to test and train souls, but the story quickly takes a back seat because the real focus here is the gameplay. This is a classic style FPS, but pushed to the extreme. Everything is fast, aggressive, and non-stop. You're constantly moving, shooting, and reacting with barely a second to breathe. What makes it really interesting is how overpowered you feel. You get access to unlimited ammo and a huge number of upgrades, letting you build something completely broken, but at the same time, the game balances it out by throwing even stronger enemies at you. So it becomes this constant battle of escalation. You get stronger, the game gets harder, and it just keeps pushing you further. Each run is about creating the perfect build, surviving waves of enemies, and eventually taking down a powerful boss waiting at the end. It released on April 7th, and it's completely free on Steam. If you enjoy fast, skill-based shooters with a bit of chaos and a lot of replayability, Sicko Sanctum is definitely worth checking out. Next up is BitSlaps, and this is pure chaos in the best possible way. This is a multiplayer party game where up to 64 players jump into crazy arena challenges filled with traps, moving platforms, and completely unpredictable moments. The goal sounds simple: run, survive, and reach the end, but the way you get there is where things get wild. You're constantly dodging hazards, avoiding falls, and trying not to get launched off the map by other players. Because here's the twist: everyone has slap abilities. You can freeze opponents, knock them into the air, or ruin their perfect run at the last second, and the game fully embraces that chaos. You can work together with your friends or betray them at the worst possible moment. Cooperation is optional, sabotage is always on the table. Each map is designed to create those unpredictable, hilarious situations. Platforms move, traps trigger randomly, and no two rounds ever play out the same way. There's also a streamer mode that takes things even further. Your audience can actually interact with the game in real time. Likes, chat activity, and subscriptions can trigger in-game effects, turning your viewers into part of the chaos. The game keeps evolving with new content, including fresh maps, modes, and events. One of the newer additions is a mode where you have to carefully move across fragile platforms, where one wrong step ends your run instantly. It released on March 23rd, and it's completely free on Steam. If you're looking for something to play with friends that's loud, chaotic, and guaranteed to create funny moments, BitSlaps is an easy recommendation. And next is Spirit and Steel, and this one feels like a small but charming action adventure with a lot of personality. You wake up as the last line of defense against an invasion led by a villain with a robot army, and it's up to you to protect the island and the spirits that live there. The setup is simple, but it gives you a clear goal right away. What really stands out is how you fight. Instead of traditional weapons, you use elemental powers. Air, water, and fire all play a role, and each one feels different in combat. You push enemies back with wind, crash crash into them with waves and hit hard with fire attacks. The enemies themselves are robotic, but they come in different types, so you're constantly switching how you approach fights. It keeps things from feeling repetitive, even though the game is relatively short. As you explore, you can also find and rescue hidden island spirits, which adds a bit of exploration on top of the combat. It's a nice extra layer that gives you a reason to look around instead of just rushing forward. Everything builds up to a final boss fight where you face the main villain directly and prove yourself as the island's guardian. It released on March 20th and it's completely free on Steam. If you're looking for a short, creative game with simple mechanics and a unique style, Spirit and Steel is definitely worth checking out. Next up is Kintsugi, and this one leans more into atmosphere, emotion, and storytelling. You play as Kyo, a young apothecary living in isolation in a world that's slowly been damaged by human greed. One day, a mysterious phenomenon spreads across the land, giving people strange golden powers, and you're one of the few who can actually use them to restore what's been broken. Instead of destruction, your main ability is healing. You use this golden energy to repair the environment, bring life back to damaged areas, and interact with the world in a more meaningful way. It's not about fighting everything you see, it's about understanding and fixing it. As you move forward, you explore different biomes, each with its own atmosphere and story. The world feels alive, but also fragile, like it's waiting for you to bring it back together piece by piece. Movement also plays a big role. You combine your abilities with traversal mechanics to reach new areas and uncover more about the origin of your powers. What really stands out here is the tone. It's calm, a bit melancholic, but also hopeful. The game uses music and environmental storytelling to pull you into its world without overwhelming you. It released on March 31st and it's completely free on Steam. If you're looking for something more artistic and emotional with a focus on exploration and atmosphere, Kintsugi is definitely worth your attention. And next is Fuse, and this one mixes multiple playstyles into one smooth and creative experience. You switch between two different characters and each one has their own unique abilities. One focuses more on stealth, using things like paper planes to distract enemies and create openings. The other is more about movement and positioning, letting you navigate through areas in a completely different way. What makes it interesting is how these abilities come together. You're not just swapping characters for the sake of it. You actually combine their strengths to solve puzzles, move through the environment, and deal with enemies when needed. The world itself is also a big part of the experience. Everything looks like it's handmade, built from paper, wool, and crafted materials. It gives the game a really unique visual style that stands out immediately. As you progress, you're constantly solving environmental puzzles and uncovering pieces of a story that isn't directly explained. There's no heavy exposition. Instead, the game lets you interpret what's happening through the world around you. It released on March 19th and it's completely free on Steam. If you enjoy games that mix stealth, puzzles, and light action with a creative visual style, Fuse is definitely one to check out. Up next is RC Overdrive, and this one brings a fun twist to classic arcade racing. Instead of full-size cars, you're racing RC cars through oversized environments that make every track feel like a playground. You'll be speeding through places like shopping malls, suburban streets, and even miniature-style worlds where everything around you feels huge in comparison. The racing itself is fast and surprisingly skill-based. You need to control your speed, avoid flipping your car, and learn each track if you want to stay ahead. It's easy to pick up, but it still rewards precision and focus. What adds extra chaos is the item system. During races, you can use things like drones with bombs, oil spills, and speed boosts to mess with opponents or secure your lead. It turns every race into a mix of skill and strategy. As you play, you unlock new RC cars, each with different handling, grip, and acceleration. Choosing the right car for each track actually makes a difference, especially on higher difficulties. There are multiple championships to complete, and you'll need consistent results to unlock tougher races and progress further. It released on February 22nd, and it's completely free on Steam. If you're into arcade racers with a bit of chaos, customization, and quick fun races, RC Overdrive is definitely worth trying. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you sticking till the end. If you enjoyed the video and found something new to play, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're getting really close to 10,000 subscribers, and it would honestly mean a lot if you helped us get there. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.